Thank you for watching MMA Oddsbreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. That is Beau Tribolet getting ready to fight Liam McGeary on Bellator 100, coming up here pretty quick. Let's go back for a second, Beau. Let's talk about Tim Carpenter. Can you take me through what happened in that fight and what mistakes you had to fix before you get ready to fight Liam?
Yeah, the Tim Carpenter fight, we were preparing for Richard Hale for Bellator. Told me I was fighting Hale in January of last year. So we tailored all of our training, all of our camp toward Hale. He was a 6'4" striker kind of guy. Hale backed out of the fight 24 hours before. Everyone has their opinion as to why. I know I have mine. And they replaced him with Tim Carpenter, who is the polar opposite. He was a good striker with Muay Thai training and a world-class black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. I had put too much time into back out of the fight, so we took the fight, and the first round kind of went like most of my first rounds do. I've generally been a slow starter. The second round came out, and I just, I feel like I had the fight well in hand. I was getting to Tim pretty good with my hands and feet. At one point, we went against a cage, and he grabbed my throat, and I remember thinking, "Oh my God, like this guy's hands are like a fucking vice." A vice.
Sorry.
And we went to the ground, and I went into what we had planned for Hale, which was to beat him up on our feet and then take him down and then put Hale against the fence, because we had seen that he wasn't very good at getting up offense. So I just went to my training, went to what we had been doing. I put Tim against the fence, and he tried for an armbar, and I pulled out of the first one. And how it is. I wasn't paying attention to the time. I felt like I was winning, and I was kind of giving him little baby taps on the face. I don't know. And next thing I know, that dude swung for an armbar, and that was on. There was no getting out of it. And I didn't have any choice. It was either tap or get my arm broken. The fight would be over either way. So,
okay.
The adjustments I've made is, we don't train for one specific dude. We just train me. So I'm prepared to fight anybody at this point. And I have a pretty unique situation, so it kind of makes it a little bit easier for me. And, it is what it is. Tim did what Tim does well. He weathered the storm, and when I went to the ground, instead of getting up like I had a couple times in that round, I stayed on the ground with him, and
Well, so
the rest is history.
your training worked. Like you planned on a different body type. Your training worked. It just didn't work for Tim because it was a different body, a different style. But what you were trying to do would have worked well against Hale. He just pulled out of the fight. So it was an unfortunate event.
There's no question in my mind. No question in my mind. We would have Hale. That would have been a W all day long and twice on Sunday.
Well, now let's break down Liam McGeary. That's the guy you're getting ready to fight here in a couple weeks. Talk to me about him. What's his style? What do you see him as a competitor?
To be honest with you, I don't know much about Liam. I know he's a great big dude. He trains with one of the guys that I've always thought is kind of someone that I look up to because of the way he approached the sport. He trains with Pellegrino, with Kurt Pellegrino. So I know he'll be ready to fight. And the thing is, at the Bellator level, I think Bellator, and if everybody's being realistic here, Bellator's, one step below the UFC. And, there are some guys that can fight in the UFC, but generally the guys that get cut come to Bellator. But that being said, there's no easy fight in Bellator.
Right.
At this level, there's just no easy fight. This isn't the local level. The tapes my team has watched. I don't watch my opponents before a fight, in a camp. I don't watch them because I feel that you end up focusing too much on what they're going to do and not what I'm going to do.
Right.
I looked at his record. I know he's got wins by submission and by striking and whatnot, but that's as far as I looked into it. The opponent means everything, and it's easy to go out and get wins against dudes that at the local level that don't know what they're doing. I won 7 straight fights, finished everybody, and got to Bellator and realized that this is no joke here. So, it's no disrespect to Liam, but I just don't. It's just the way I train.
It seems to me that everyone in Bellator is either trying to prove a point by winning the tournament and becoming the champ and getting called up, or they just got dropped from the upper leagues and are now trying to prove to themselves that they can still be in the upper echelon. So Bellator is a very strange kind of fight organization because everybody has something to prove to somebody else, and everyone's fighting for the little bit of space. Now, I want to go back to our interview a couple minutes ago. You said you have a very unique situation. What's that situation? You're talking about your training at a very unique situation. What's that situation?
Right. Well, my just basically how I got into this game. I don't fight for money, which takes a tremendous amount of pressure off of me. I have a good job. My wife has a good job. Oh. So this to me is and I hope that nobody takes this the wrong way, but this to me is a hobby that I happen to be pretty good at and I get paid for. I take it as serious as anybody else, and I think I train as hard, if not harder than most people, because I'm here because I love it. I'm not here because I need the money. There's no pressure on me to go to the gym and be like, oh, I got to get through this workout. Like, I want to go through the workout. I didn't start training anything until I was 32 years old, and I started training because I was on the SWAT team and I was a power lifter, and I couldn't make our obstacle course because I was too heavy. So my little brother was boxing at the time, and he said, well, come and try this workout, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to lift weights because I'm big and strong. I started boxing with him. I liked the workouts, and then at our gym the gym I was training at was taken over by a fighting gym, and Don Fry came in. And he was training. This is right when Don Fry was ending his career, and they asked for guys to spar with him. And I had seen him before, when I was a kid. I saw him on TV. I was like, yeah, I'll get in there and get punched by him. That'd be cool. And I had really no formal training, but I was able to land punches on Don Fry. And at the time, I was like, Jesus, if I can land a punch on Don Fry, and I've never had any training, maybe if I commit myself to this. So I did, and I started from the grappling portion of it, doing no-gi jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I won some Grapplers Quest tournaments. Did pretty well with that portion of it, and then I just trained for 2 years. I didn't do any fights. I just trained. I did boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, everything, and I took a fight, and it was kind of on short notice. I was supposed to be an amateur fight, and I ended up stepping up. They gave me a pro, whatever. They paid me like $300 or something like that. And I fought a dude named JoJo Thompson, who was 6'5", 290-pound behemoth. And, I ain't that big. So I went in there, and JoJo knocked me out cold. And wow. A couple days later, they offered me a rematch with him, and I don't know why they did that, and I don't know why I took it, but I did. And I trained with one of my, the guy who kind of turned everything around and gave me a different outlook on it. His name is Jason Bukic. Mm-hmm. And we trained for that fight, and I ended up winning. And it was really cool, because it was just a local show or whatnot, but I trained real hard for it. Everybody was there watching. And then I just kind of fell into the next 6 fights, just kind of, I got a real short notice fight with Randy Couture's training partner when he fought Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. And I was brought in to lose that fight. And I won that fight. And then I won another fight. And next thing you know, I'm 36, 37 years old, and Bellator calls and offers me a spot in their tournament. And I was like, and for me, I remember sitting, I was watching TV. Me and my wife would watch the Bellator fights, and I'd be like, man, it would be cool just to be able to, just one time, it was like, it was a never thought in a million years. So for me, just getting there, I'm 38 years old. I should have a fantasy football team and be eating Cheetos on Sundays, and instead I'm training and watching my weight, and it's, so for me, it's just a unique situation. I don't have any pressure, and in this fight, the pressure's on my opponent, because if I lose, I wasn't supposed to be there anyway, I'm just an old man. But if I win, who did he lose to? He lost to some old guy. You know what I mean? So the pressure's on him. For me, I can just go out there and let my hands go, and if I get caught, I get caught. If I win, I win. It's a good situation for me, but I don't want that to be mistaken for I don't take this shit serious.
Right.
I just have a different approach.
Are you still with SWAT?
No, I got promoted shortly after my brother and I started training, so I'm a supervisor now. I'm a sergeant, so I have a squad that I operate. I work a midnight shift, and I joke around. Tucson Police Department sponsors me, and they don't even know it. You know what I mean? Because my job. It's fun. Being a cop is a fun job. It's not I'm not. Again, like some of these guys I train with, they come in at 6 o'clock after working all day in the sun and, or working a hard job. Like for me, being a cop, I mean, I get paid pretty well to do something fun. Everybody wants to talk to a cop. You know what I mean? No one asks an attorney what he does during the week, but they all want to